organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Tonight, live on Daily Iowan TV, it's a plane, it's a ship. Nope, it's the New Hampshire Auditorium. We'll give you a sneak peek.
And find out how one senior's photography is bringing international attention to a campus problem.
And in sports,
it's been a historic season thus far for the Iowa baseball team in 2015.
We're bringing all of this and more coming up.
Welcome to Daily Iowan TV.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Megan Horhan.
And I'm Cody Goodwin.
Usually when someone thinks about pizza, they think about cheese and pepperoni, not guns. We told you yesterday that 4 Cedar Rapids residents are under arrest for trying to smuggle guns through a clothing drive headed for Syria and Lebanon. Well, one of the suspects' brothers who owns Pizza Daddy in Cedar Rapids says his restaurant has been under fire after the incident. Matham Hers says police stormed into his restaurant for search on Tuesday. Hers says he had no knowledge of his brother's actions and his restaurant has no connection to the smuggling. However, he worries about the reputation of Pizza Daddy. He said people are already calling him, asking him for guns and accusing him of terrorism.
We have some good news for you speedy drivers out there. The Iowa DOT rejected appeals from 4 Iowa cities to continue using automated traffic enforcement cameras that the state recently ordered to be removed. These cities include Cedar Rapids, Des Moines, Council Bluffs, and Muscatine. In a letter Wednesday, an Iowa DOT spokesman said the appeals were denied because they found that the speed cameras were not making interstate highways safer.
It's been almost 7 years since Iowa's 2008 flood, but Hampshire Auditorium won't open its new doors until next spring. Reporter Michelle Nago gives you an inside look at the university's largest flood recovery project so far.
And that's one of the first things that people see when they come to the University of Iowa is Hampshire.
Executive Director Chuck Swanson still remembers the devastation he felt when Hampshire Auditorium was destroyed by Iowa's 2008 flood.
The doors were locked, the padlocks put on the doors, and then all of a sudden to take that place away from us that we had cared for so many years, it was difficult. And then there was so much uncertainty, for a long period of time too.
Uncertainty soon turned to good news. The University of Iowa would tear down the old Hampshire and rebuild a brand new one from the ground up. After 30 months of planning the design and a $139 million budget, construction began in March of 2013.
We're about 25 months in and about 65% of the work is done. It's going to take roughly another year for construction to be complete and 16 months until doors open for the first show.
And really the time's gone pretty quickly. There's been so much going on. But now we're to the point that, I want a lot of that show work to start happening. I want to really see some of those fine things that everybody's been talking about.
It doesn't look like much now, but this area will be transformed into the main lobby. This area will be transformed into a smaller but more intimate 1,800-seat theater.
It's going to be beautiful, and it's going to be a relief just to sit back in that chair and watch a performance in somewhere where I know all the little details of how that light is wired to there and how it was a challenge we had to overcome to get that to work.
And by spring 2016, this will be one of the first things you'll see when you come to the University of Iowa. Reporting from Hampshire Auditorium, Michelle Nago, Daily Iowan TV.
Thank you, Michelle. And as finals week comes to an end, many students are missing that feeling of home. One student organization worked to lighten up the rough week. Bobby Wong-Kamalasai has more.
In the midst of final stress and emotional goodbyes, student org UI Paws worked with the Johnson County Therapy Dogs and Iowa City Animal Shelter, encouraging students to lay off the books and roll over to the north and south rooms of the IMU for some playtimes with the pups.
Well, UI Paws stands for University of Iowa Promoting Animal Welfare and Society, and it's the only student organization on campus that works to promote animal welfare.
The four-legged therapists that schedule appointments for the event come from all breeds, colors, ages, and sizes. and although clients might have to wait, the doc makes time to treat them all. A few of the dogs this year were Lily the golden brown Aussie Doodle, Quinn the German Shepherd not so little puppy, and Sir Francis Bacon the shiny black Labraquita. It's probably not every day that college students think to sign up for therapy sessions, but when it comes to dogs, there's something else.
When you play with the dog, dopamine gets released in your head, and so it just creates that happiness factor.
So if you miss those therapists this time around, you can catch them next semester. Bobby Wonkamalasi, Daily Iowan TV.
Well, Cody, it was quite the gloomy weekend. I hope the skies clear up by graduation on Saturday.
I really hope they do. My mom wants to parade me around campus after the commencement ceremony and take a lot of pictures. So please, Abby, please tell us that the skies are going to clear out on Saturday.
I have some bad news for you, Cody. You might want to take those pictures inside because we have a lot of rain ahead. While we didn't see much of the sun today, tomorrow we may see it peak out for a few hours. Tomorrow morning we'll start out in the 60s with cloudy skies, and by afternoon temperatures will reach the high 70s. In the evening we should see temperatures reach as high as 80 degrees. As we move into summer, watch out for those scattered thunderstorms on Saturday and Sunday. This weekend will have highs in the 80s, but unfortunately we won't see another sunny day until Monday. Next week, while the skies clear, we will see a drop in temperatures around the mid to upper 60s. Temperatures should be back in the 70s by the end of the week. Graduation weekend may not be as sunny, but at least we'll be in comfortable temperatures. That's all I have for you in the weather studio. Back to you guys at the desk.
What started out as a casual class conversation has now reached its way to BuzzFeed. Daily Iowan TV's Megan Sanchez sat down with the University of Iowa student that everyone is talking about.
UI senior Taylor Yoakum's photography project entitled Guarded has truly hit the ground running. The series of portraits show women holding up rape whistles, mace, and car keys, all items used to protect themselves when walking home alone.
The rape whistles or the keys between the fingers, it's on a keychain, it's something you use every day. And so I wanted those loaded objects on the keychain to be the representation of rape culture or victim blaming, or I'm not saying that every rape is going to be a stranger in the bushes. I'm talking about how it's so ingrained that there's date rape and there's all these horrible things that women have to are trained to be on the lookout for, and it's just sad that we have to think that way. And so I wanted these portraits to be the representation of that.
When Taylor began waking up to media requests each morning last week, she says she was shocked, but the limelight hasn't been picture perfect.
It's really surreal because this was something that I never imagined existing outside of studio arts and in this building and this university. And so seeing it being picked up was really cool. It's also very strange to see your work being written about because I feel like a lot of it's sensationalized and I didn't necessarily mean for it to be that way. So it's really cool, but then again, I kind of wish I was there to clarify a lot of things that people are reading.
Websites like USA Today, The Huffington Post, and even Vanity Fair in Italy have picked up Taylor's story. The BuzzFeed post has over 1 million views. Taylor says this was a great way to end senior year, and she hopes her outreach continues.
What a year it has been for the Hawks. For more on that and the rest of the Hawkeye sports, we'll toss it over to Chelsea Brown and Austin Luce, who are standing by live in the sports studio. Guys?
Thanks, guys, and it has been quite the season for the 13th ranked Hawkeye baseball team, as coach Rick Heller has led them to yet another great season. But they're not the only team on campus who's had a great spring thus far.
That's right, Austin, and while every rower on the Iowa women's rowing team makes a difference in the team speed, there's one person behind the scenes that makes it all happen. Hannah Thompson took a look inside the job of the Iowa boatman.
Practice starting at 6 a.m., afternoon rows throughout the evening, or traveling across the country with boats in haul to the next meet, Gerald Jones does it all. G, as the rowers call him, is the Iowa Women's Rowing Equipment Manager and has been for the past 14 years. His jobs range from repairing boats, to fixing oars, to washing dirty towels and making sure everything is set and running well for coaches and rowers.
I kind of do a custodial work on the interior of the boats, and then I do the mechanical work on the exterior of the boats when they need it.
Being a part of the team for so long means G has seen his fair share of changes from rowers to coaches. And this year, he says the team's success comes from the difference in the way that they communicate.
Being able to communicate with the athletes and not forcing any stress upon them. It's in their corner, if you want to put it metaphorically. It's We give them the opportunity, and then they just have to empower themselves and care about themselves enough to undertake this.
Though G is there to make sure everything works well and runs smoothly, he says it's paramount to keep the athletes safe and to teach them how to be self-sufficient when he can't be there.
It's a big world out there, getting smaller all the time. The opportunities and stuff, they need to be aware of what's going on so that they can better prepare themselves for when they go out. I may not be a coach, but I do my best to encourage them.
And no matter how stressful the job can be, the rowers say G will always be an integral part of their team. Reporting from the Beckwith Boathouse, Hannah Thompson, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
The rowing team will head to Indiana for Big Ten championships this weekend.
And the Iowa baseball team is currently in New Jersey, finishing up their regular season against Rutgers this weekend. The Hawks did, however, drop Game 1 earlier today, 5-3 to the Scarlet Knights, pushing their 2015 record to 37-13 overall and 18-4 in conference play.
And the head man behind all the team's success has been coach and Iowa native Rick Heller. Daily Iowan TV sports reporter Zach Mackey caught up with Heller this week to chat about the season his team has put together.
Let's go from the beginning. Your decision to come here to Iowa, some people are going to overlook an ailing program like Iowa was in the beginning. What made your decision to come here to Iowa?
Well, it was an easy decision for me. I mean, being from the state, being a Hawkeye fan growing up, and coaching in the state as long as I had, I felt like it was a good fit and a good match. From a recruiting standpoint, I felt like we could do a really good job of keeping the Iowa kids in state with the connections that I had with the high school coaches and the junior college coaches in our state. And my family's here in Iowa.
Mm-hmm. Some people are looking at this and saying, how do you do it so fast? How do you turn it around in your second season when you already hinted on it a little bit? A lot of these guys you didn't even recruit. It's taking the talent that you already had.
Exactly, but knew that junior class was going to have to be the key to us having a good year right now in 2015. So anyway, we just really went to work, grinding it out from day one, and we had a great fall and a great off season. I thought the guys really improved, got better. The weight program went really well. They just put in the work that it took to have a chance to have a good season, and that's really all we asked them to do. We didn't talk a whole lot about winning games, but we talked about winning the day and being a champion on and off the field, and the wins usually take care of themselves.
I know in my talks with you and a lot of the other players, it's been you expected to win and expected to be in this situation, but looking at it now, could you really have expected to be this good, set up this well going into the conference tournament?
Yeah, I really did, because I knew the makeup of the kids we had in the program, and we brought in pitching depth, which was one thing we lacked last season that hurt us at times.
As the head coach, when you look at this program, what do you think the future holds for Iowa baseball?
Well, we want to keep the program moving forward. We want to make sure that we're recruiting the right kids, both athletically and academically, that fit in here at Iowa, that are talented enough to keep us moving forward.
Congrats, Coach. Thanks for sitting down with us. All the best in the future.
All right, thanks, Zach. I appreciate it.
This 13th ranking for the Hawks is their highest since 1990. The team will look to get back on the winning track tomorrow when 8-1 starter Blake Hickman takes the mound.
And that is all the time we have for you on this live edition of Daily Iowan TV Sports.
Be sure to tune in over summer break to stay up to date on Iowa baseball and for peeks at the upcoming football season. Megan and Cody, back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, guys. One of the most popular television shows in TV history is losing a voice. The Simpsons actor Harry Shearer announced yesterday that he is now leaving the show.
Shearer voiced many characters on the television show, including Ned Flanders, Principal Skinner, Kent Brockman, and Mr. Burns. The show's executive officials will be looking for a replacement for Shearer's well-known voice as The Simpsons wrap up their 26th season. And that does it for us here at Daily Iowan TV.
And just a heads up, the Daily Iowan and Daily Iowan TV will be taking a programming break, but don't worry, we will be back in June.
But before we go, we would like to give a little shout out to all the seniors graduating from the University of Iowa this weekend, and an extra special shout out to the seniors of Daily Iowan.
And that includes Abby from the weather, Chelsea from sports, Michelle in the producing studio, as well as Megan and myself. We're all graduating this weekend. Thanks so much for watching us one last time. I'm Cody Goodwin.
And I'm Megan Horhan. Have a great summer.